Welcome to this unsettling tale about the situation on Equusia, where ignorance is bliss until it isn't. It is the calendar year of 2011. In a galaxy far away, there exists a star called Equusia, and within its system, a planet named Equusia, where a sentient species known as the Asinorians reside. Except for a small group of Asinorians, the great majority knows nothing of other star systems and neighboring races. They believe they are alone in the universe. Asinorians in general are sweet and loving in their early years of life, but quickly lose those qualities as they age, while retaining their childlike naivete throughout their lifespan. The body of an Asinorian resembles that of a donkey, and the intelligence level of their majority is not far above that of said donkey. But lo and behold, in a neighboring star system called Reptilex, on the planet Reptilon, there lives a shrewd, technologically advanced race whose bodies resemble that of an upright, you guessed, reptile. They are the Crocovians. The Crocovians, who, in contrast to Asinorians, do travel around the galactic neighborhood and do business with other races, saw the potential of Equusia and its resources, especially the Asinorians' genetic material, and thus began their machinations to exploit the unsuspecting Asinorians. In short, the Crocovians cunningly infiltrate the Asinorian civilization without their knowledge and begin to make discreet contact with select Asinorians in order to find suitable partners. It turns out that a small but powerful group of Asinorians are very receptive to the Crocovians' persuasion and mouth-watering technological offers. This powerful group is known as the Greedilians by the few Asinorians who can perceive their presence, for they endeavor not to be seen for their actual roles in society. Greedilians have an agenda of acquiring more power, world domination, and purging the Asinorian species of those specimens they consider to be weak and impure. The Greedilians see in their partnership with the Crocovians the ultimate means to further their heartless and calculating agenda of worldwide genocide on Equusia. Some Greedilians truly believe they are saving the planet, and they are, but it is for themselves and their extraplanetary partners. Most Asinorians simply won't be around to see it. The Greedilians' agenda fits the Crocovians' agenda like a glove, as the Crocovians are out to inoculate the remaining suitable reproductive population to genetically hybridize with their own species and make Equusia their planet. It is a win-win situation. So they initiate, among other endeavors, a program of depopulation, restraint, desensitization, pacification, and mental reprogramming of the Asinorians as a whole. All done in total obscurity. The great majority of Asinorians are oblivious to this. Asinorians lack the eyes to see, and most lack the brains to process this information, even if it is rubbed on their asinine noses, such as the information the dear listener is receiving at this very divine moment. That is the dire and disturbing situation on Equusia. Asinorians are in deep trouble, but do not know. Except for a few. Magoogoo, a wise and inquisitive Asinorian who has a knack for reading in between the lines and connecting dots, heard whispers of the Crocovians' presence on Equusia, and, with their cooperation, the Greedilians' intent to commit genocide in a way that nobody except the most astute and intuitive creature would notice. "What an absurd idea! That is not possible!" exclaimed some of his Asinorian friends. Magoogoo, however, found the whole story rather plausible. It reminded him, in some ways, of stories told about Christopher Columbus and the natives on Earth. So Magoogoo, as stubborn as a Taurian ass, decided to consult an oracle to clarify the matter. For oracles can see behind the curtain, while the majority of Asinorians, as you know, can hardly see past the carrot hanging in front of their snouts. Oracles belong to another sentient species on Equusia, their bodies resembling that of a crow. Like on Earth, they exist for the purpose of informing those who do not know. They fly throughout all planets in the Equusia system, and upon returning, they draw doodles on the sand. Then they begin to sing about their visions for anybody who can hear, to hear. So Magoogoo went straight to the most curious and nosiest of all oracles, Horagoo, and asked, "Beloved and trusted Horagoo, is there a group of Asinorians and Crocovians who are trying to reduce the population of Equusia? If so, why and how are they planning to do it?" Horagoo listened carefully and flew away among the planets. Upon his return, as is customary, he drew one of the most amazing doodles by the seashore, a poem made in heaven. Horagoo then sang his message to all those who can hear, to hear. There is indeed a small but powerful group of Asinorians, the Greedilians, engaged in reducing the number of Asinorians on Equusia. This macabre enterprise is made possible by a collaboration between the Greedilians and a small delegation of Crocovians living on in and around Equusia, known as Crocassols. Their next method to advance their agenda of depopulation will be the creation and release of a virus bioengineered using Crocovian technology into the unsuspecting population. The Asinorians at large will believe the widespread infection to be a natural occurrence and will go on carrying their burdens as asses must do without questioning until, of course, they die. However, sooner rather than later, thanks to the Greedilians' ingenious plan and the help from the Crocassols. Soon after that, a program of nano-inoculation against what they will call Crocovid-91 will be offered in order to advance the same agenda, but in a subtler and more long-term way. The Asinorians will exalt and beg for what will be advertised as the vaccine and will not only take it, but will ask for more. Asinorians are vulnerable, fearful, gullible, ignorant, blinded, and trapped by this scheme. In this partnership made in the depths of Plutokoo, the Equusia equivalent of Earth's hell, Crocassols supply high technology to the Greedilians, who can then become richer and more powerful, and live healthier and longer. In exchange, the Greedilians give their permission and all of the necessary assistance, including their own technology, labor, law, and enforcement for Crocassols to establish deep roots and extract the resources they want from Equusia. For those who are also oracles on Earth, Horagoo sent a picture of his doodle along with his comments. Magoogoo's inquiry was, "Is there a group of Asinorians and Crocovians who are trying to reduce the population of Equusia? If so, what else can we know about this predicament?" The doodle symbolism is as follows. The Asinorian population is signified by the moon. The Crocovian delegation, the Crocassols, is signified by Saturn because Crocovians come from the nearby galaxy of Reptilex, thus are the Asinorians' neighbors, House 3. The Greedilians are signified by Venus because they are the Asinorians' hidden enemies, House 12. The bioengineered virus is signified by Mars because it rules House 6. The Asinorian authorities are signified by the Sun because it rules the 10th house, and the Sun is the natural ruler of authority. The injection program is signified by Mercury because it rules the incepted sign in the 10th house. House 4, being the second from the third, represents Crocovian technology, while its significator is Jupiter, the ruler of the incepted sign in that house. Neptune indicates the obscurity of that which it touches. The oraculation goes more or less like this. The moon could not be in a worse accidental position, inside the 12th cusp, under the rulership of Venus, and on the verge of traversing House 12. What could that change of signs mean? The moon becomes ill from a virus infection. This happens by a trine. It is a piece of cake to release a virus and let nature do the rest. Mercury and the Sun's antecedent are conjunct with the Moon inside the 12th cusp, indicating they are already in place and ready to be deployed, however unseen by Asinorians. Once the virus is released, The moon falls into Scorpio and immediately trines Mercury. That is, an inoculation program is implemented through fear-mongering persuasion and enforced by the authorities. All that is happening while conjunct with Mars's Antician, reflecting the Asinorians' ignorance of the virus's true nature and origin. Venus is the group of Asinorians bent on reducing the Asinorian population. Venus is in the moon's detriment, eloquently indicating harm from their actions. The separating square between the moon and Venus tells us that the moon's present predicament stems from such harmful actions already executed in the past. Who else is involved? The sun is rather clear. Mercury is heavily combust. The authorities control the implementation of the vaccination program and global health guidelines. Venus is inside the third cusp. It is in positive mutual reception with Saturn, establishing their mutually loving partnership. The separating square is descriptive of the difficult nature of their business and personal dealings. Deceiving and corralling billions of Asinorians is no small feat, I'll give them that. Fortuna is disposited by the moon, and its Antician is on the 8th cusp, leaving no doubt as to what this doodle's about. In summary, yes, there is such a group. They will do it in every possible way, skillfully without anyone being aware of it. Now, at this auspicious point in their timeline, they have the technology and all resources needed to implement it in a global scale. The next major event will be a planned epidemic. The reason is complex, but its root is eloquently hinted at in this doodle by Jupiter's position in the house of the Asinorians' progeny, and in the Greedilians' desire to purge the Asinorian population of those they deem to be of lesser quality and save the planet for themselves.